smoke when we all celebrate success. So now we
Hey guys, so here we are. Finally managed to get new window regulators. This is the driver's side, this is the passenger side. Just busy making sure I have all the right size nuts and bolts and things so I can put them in. I've had a look at the hanger for the window and it's very similar to the OEM part, so this should fit nicely with the attachments here on the OEM window glass. I can't find these things. No one seems to know what they're called. You'll see there's like a rubber that holds the glass in place that slips over, well this metal part slips over this. So I was thinking of trying to take these off, cleaning them up, maybe just spraying them, not sending them off for sandblast or anything, but just to sort of just clean them up and stop the rust and things. But before I can even do any of that, I need to make sure I can fit. This is an aftermarket one. I went for these two came at like 700 for both, as opposed to 1.6 a side. So this is kind of going to be my analog. I'm going to run the aftermarket ones and see how they work out. Jazz, what's up, boy? And if I need to, if they don't work out, at least I know the length and stuff that I need to get. You can still get them from Volkswagen, but I want to try just to make sure I have the right size. So you get the two options, like I've explained before. You get the ones for the quarter windows, which is what I've got, and then you've got the newer cities. Although the door is smaller, the window is physically bigger because they don't have the quarter windows anymore. So I bought these ones. These are City Golf quarter window regulators, just so that I can get them in here. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to change the passenger side one. There's nothing wrong with that one, so I might fold this up, put it back in its pack and shove it in the cupboard as a spare in case I need, to sort that one out one day. But at least if I can get this one in, then both windows are back to being manual, and that solves another issue, which was, what do I do with the door cards? So these are the door cards I'm going to use. So the only thing I need to worry about now when I redo these is I need a grommet, because I've obviously put the flag mirrors on there. So these are for the adjusters for the other type of the modern city sort of mirrors. There's like a little joystick, if you want to call it, here that moves around. I've got the full size L-shaped handles now, so this can stay. The only other issue here is speakers. I don't really want to cut these because of the trim, but the back of both of these is rotten. There's lots of water damage from being stored in cupboards and things like that. So the backboard needs to be changed, and then the skins could just be moved over. So I can't remember, I think these have been reskinned already, because I have these other door cards, these blanks. These were in the car. They're not very, they're just vinyl wrapped over, which was fine for what the car was being used for, I guess. But see, these guys had speaker holes, so this is kind of like a rough measurement, but I'm sure that these ones, if it's not the driver's side one, it might be the passenger side one. They had a template to show where you needed to cut, but you can see this has been fixed before. So obviously when someone reskinned it, they just sorted that out. I think the other one is still in the car. Let's just have a look. Seeing as you guys are a captive audience. No, it's not. I seem to think it showed a template where you needed to cut for the speakers, but there might have been on other door cards I've seen. So yeah, this is the passenger side one. So these are pretty good. I mean, I like the carpet at the bottom. It's got a little bit of a vinyl sort of trim along the edge. It's got the chrome strip, which the driver's side needs to be redone, but this is kind of the pattern I want to use. Now, it is important to have door speakers, simply because I've already bought the speakers, like number one, but number two, I don't want to redo new door cards and not have a speaker hole and cut them later. I don't want to cut these skins, so these might go in for now, after having the backboard fixed. But I would like to use some of this material, and I'm going to talk to the upholsterer when the car goes in, which is hopefully going to be very soon. So what I was thinking, I'll probably put up a still of the sort of design I want to use. But some of the cars had, instead of this sort of leather stitch pattern, they had fabric here, excuse me, along the center. Excuse me, so lots of dust. So I would like to use some of this GTI material and incorporate it into the door cards. It might, you know, I'd have to do front and rear obviously, and the rears have those ashtrays. I don't smoke, I don't let people smoke in my cars, so those ashtrays are completely useless there in those armrests. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to patch that hole up, and then maybe just do an insert there of the fabric. So that's kind of where we're going. Did quite a bit of work. I put up some stills, I sorted the rear drum covers out. There was quite a bit of rust forming, sort of where the wheel bolts on. This is just Hammerite paint. I cleaned it up, took a wire brush, cleaned it up, wiped it down with some methylated spirits, some acetone, let it air dry, and I did 2 coats, just a plain Hammerite. The Hammerite has a rust inhibitor inside the paint, and that's the only reason I did that, just to stop the rust. But plus, the rims I want to use, you can see onto the drum covers, these guys. You can see through them, and the rust was just looking terrible. So the OEM rims, these temporary ones, first of all, these Pirelli tires are ancient, so they need to be changed. But what I did with them, you see I just did a light spray work. I took the drill with the wire brush here, cleaned these guys up, again a little bit of an acetone bath, and I did 2 coats of normal silver spray paint. And that's literally so I'm doing paint on paint transfer, not rusted rims onto drum covers. So these will go back on. I'm pretty much ready now to put the car back on its rear wheels, although I want to do front and rear at the same time. But I'm pretty much ready to put these guys back on, and I'll show you why I say that. Let's put the light on here. You see I fitted the rear anti-roll bar. Finally. Decided one weekend just to do it. I did spray it like I said I would. Cleaned it up nicely. Gave it 4 or 5 coats of red lacquer. The proper thing to have done would have been to send this thing off, get the whole thing powder coated, and then sandblast and then powder coated. But I did give it a very light sanding, and then, like I said, the 4 or 5 coats of this red enamel. These purple polyurethane bushes were an absolute nightmare to fit. I took these middle parts out, put the OEM rubbers back in, and these middle clamps went straight on. Took those off, put the polys back on, and they're just unforgiving. They will not budge. They won't give you any play. They won't squish nicely like the rubbers ones do. So I ended up having to hook the lip of this clip on the bottom and taking a rubber mallet and just getting it into place till I could get the thread through far enough to get the nut on both sides. It was, I can't tell you the combination of swear words I've invented that evening. The longest part of that day though was actually waiting for the 1.5 hours for the paint to cure. Then spraying in 1.5 hours. I think it took me the whole day to spray those coats on there, and then 45 minutes to fit. But yeah, it's on now, so the rear wheels can go back on. Very happy about that. And that's one step closer. Might have to do some editing there. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to get stuck into this door now, and I might test fit the glass just to make sure that the glass actually connects to that sort of landing there, and then at least we can lightly up and down do a test. And it'll be the first time in God knows how long that this is back to a manual window again. I am keeping the electric motor. There it is over there. You can see that cable is much shorter, obviously, because it's got a drive motor that literally just moves the runner up and down, up and down. So I'm keeping that as an example. Should I decide to go electric windows, that's the one to use. It had two very nice features on the buttons for it. This one has a single touch down and a single touch up, and I think it also had a safety clutch, so if you put your hands on there and push down as the window is going up or down, it actually stops, which is important when you've got two small children in there. So yeah, if I was to do electric windows in this thing, I would like to do sort of one touch. I don't want to sit and press the button all the way down. Sort of one touch, glass goes down, one touch, glass goes up. So that's literally just there for part number reference. And to take, when I go to spare shops, I can take it with and say, look, I'm looking for this. It's from an E30 BMW, and they'll know exactly which one to go. And I have a look here as well. Finally pressed in this poly bush for the motor mount. Got all the pieces together just to test and make sure that I have everything I need for the cam belt covers. So that's all good to go. Got a new cam belt in a box somewhere, poly V belt. So yeah, we kind of getting there. I had to sort a little bit of a trick at the bottom with the sump, but I'm not going to bore you with those details. But yeah, this is the spare anti-roll bar that I've got. So the only thing I'm missing here is one of the slider locking pins that goes here on this loop. Looks like this guy. I can import them. I might buy 2 new ones and get them shipped to a mate of mine in the UK, and then we'll go and fetch it next time we're out there, or you can make a plan to send it through to me. These rubbers are really hard. These are the OEM ones. You can see they're actually starting to crack. So I may need to get all new ones as well. I mean, while I'm ordering, and I have a place to send them in the UK. So order 2 of these guys, 2 of those guys, and then this anti-roll bar could actually go off for sandblasting and be used as a spare, or for the next vehicle, who knows. I am tempted to do another one of these. I would do that one completely different to the way I've done this one. But obviously if I was to do another one, I would be a lot more picky. What do you guys think? Should I put the scratch guards? This is what it looks like without. And then my previous video, I had I put the scratch guard in. They need to be cleaned up, but this was just really temporary. I kind of like how this looks, especially with the new paint. At least then, as you're getting in and out, you're not scratching inside the doors. Anyway, if you can leave a comment, let me know what you think. And yeah, let's get cracking. I'll hopefully do an update video. You guys will see the finished product. Cheers for now. Okay, and we're back. So everything went in nicely. Very impressed with these aftermarket regulators, I must say. Everything lined up perfectly. So there's 3 bolts here at the top, 2 around the regulator itself, 1 over here, and then there's a captive nut at the bottom that you can put a bolt. There's a bolt that goes through the floor and sort of lines everything up basically. So I put these 2 in first, did this one finger tight, and then I let this bolt pull everything down, and then it was perfect. So everything's still new, but it works nicely. I don't have all the other rubbers and scrapers and things in place just yet, so I do need to make some final adjustments here, but this is a very good place to be, because this door is now 1 step closer to being finished. I can then finish the passenger door, and once the doors are done, that's a major job I can tick off the list of things to do. I do want to test fit the speaker. I bought a box of OEM speakers, so I just want to test fit those. I probably will not do that tonight, I don't think, but I want to try and fiddle with this a little bit, see if I can get the window to go all the way up. Right now it kind of starts to jump out just about here. You see it's pushed right up against the... So I think once the scrapers are in place and the surround rubber is in place, it'll kind of stop the window from having this kind of play. So it's on the glass that's moving, not the regulator. The regulator is nice and tight, obviously with a upper and lower bolts, but the glass has a lot of play in it. So, but this kind of is a great achievement. What I like about it as well is that these are OEM door handles from a modern city. They go straight on. So it's got the recess here for the locking plate. Put it in, lock it on, and we're good to go. So that's a big plus. So it was a compromise to go with modern parts, guys. The original ones would have had a screw hole here. So you had like a round ring that would go over here, and then you would screw it down, and then you'd have a little black cover that would cover everything up. This, I think, kind of gives a bit of a neater finish. Easy on, easy off. Still kind of regularly find these at scrapyards and things without too much damage. So I think this is a good step forward. Both sides, I think I bought a whole bunch of loose bits. I luckily managed to get 2 at the same time. So what I might do with this door is I'll put the door card on, just to kind of give you guys a kind of a glimpse of the finished product. But very happy with that. And for $700 for both, I mean, what was it, like $260 each or something? I was quite happy with the, with paying for the aftermarket unit. I'm going to leave the OEM unit in there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's worked perfectly, so we'll just leave that in there. I'm going to keep this guy as a spare for if that one ever packs up. It came sort of loose in a packet, so I'll just wrap it up, shove it in the cupboard. But yeah, might as well get the rest. I mean, this thing's been in this door for probably 30 years, so might as well just use it till it breaks. Having said that, now I'm sort of wondering if I shouldn't just put this in, because it literally took about 15 minutes. 3 nuts, 1 bolt, out and in. So we'll see tomorrow. I have a feeling I might come back and change my mind, but for now I'm kind of saying that's in place, it's happy, leave it alone, and we're good to go there. So I need to now that this is back in place, there's 2 important things I need to find. I'm missing 4 of these scraper clips. I'm supposed to have 16, I only have 12 in here. So I need to get, I think it's 4 per side that I'm missing. I need to get those, and the reason I need to get those is because they hold the scrapers in place. You sort of slot them in, tap it down, and that'll begin to sort of arrest this kind of movement. But also they have a felt lining on the inside to clean the glass up and down. That's why they're called scrapers, inside and outside. So that's the first thing, and then once I've got all the clips, I need to measure up. I think I needed to trim about 5 centimeters off on either side, and then glue them to the quarter window seals. And once those are in place, they come to about here, then I can do the rest of the rubbers, and then this door is really finished. Now, I've never done window rubbers before, so I'm very sort of hesitant to do it without a professional around. But I mean, I can go to Pro Auto Rubber and get new ones, so let's give it a shot. Then the other thing I'm thinking of doing, and this is kind of just to speed things along a little bit, is taking the car through to the upholsterer and getting her to put there's foam padding that needs to go. There's a strip 1, 2, and 3 that goes in there, and then getting her to do the roof lining. And the roof lining is going to include around the quarter window, all the way down to the bottom there, and all the way along the windowsill and up, so to sort of encase this whole thing in like a black vinyl, because then that's another thing I can tick off. That's done, because the end goal is to put the quarter window glass in both sides, the rear window in, and then the windscreen, and then that is all the glass in place. Working doors, all the glass is in place. I can then start focusing on finishing all the wiring, welding the handbrake, engine and gearbox can go in. And then the plan is to drive the finished product to the upholsterer and get it to put the carpets and do the seats. So yeah, that's kind of where I think I'm going to go. I need to get the exhaust done, obviously. I think I've mentioned that previously, but once the glass is in place, there's a whole knock-on effect. It means that all of this glass, the rear window, I need to get a new windscreen, my other one cracked, but all the glass is in place. You know, the door cards and everything she can do while it's there, because obviously we'll have that done. And I need to do a new boot lining. I was going to do the false floor thing. I'm still kind of tempted. I need to put the back seat in so I can measure up and use the wooden boards to kind of just raise the floor a little bit. On and off thinking about that. I might get her to carpet all the way on the rear valence and the inside black. But yeah, these are just things I'm thinking about. It might be easier to drop, you know, once I've got the engine, the gearbox and the exhaust sorted, all the brakes are fixed, you know, take the shell to the upholsterer, you know, get her to do the whole car once off, and then do the glass thing on the way back. That was the original plan. But I'm so desperate to get all this glass back in place here that I'm kind of thinking of taking it early, doing the roof lining, putting the glass in on the way back, and you know, it frees up. You know, my big thing at the moment is doing jobs that'll free up space. So once all this glass is gone, I have a table back. You know, once the engine stuff is in, I have boxes off the floor. I have my engine crane back. I can put the other engine on the stand and start, you know, getting that ready. I'll shove it in the corner, get that ready. You know, again, this table space back, floor space. So I'm kind of pushing to try and finish major jobs to free up space in the garage. I really want to get my Cabrio in here as well, especially now that the rainy season has started. So that's kind of my thinking, guys. Another random thing, update for the garage. I was planning to run the heater off this plug. Instead, I want to run that fridge off this plug. So I'm going to run the extension I bought over to that wall there, drill a hole in, you know, just run a multi-plug there so I can have my fridge standing on that table, well, that countertop. And that's just to keep the refreshments, so when I'm done with a job like this, we can have a bit of a celebratory drink. While I'm looking at the flywheel, this is a 210mm, which is exactly the one I was thinking of using. This is the original one, well, the one that came off the vehicle. I'm not really happy with it now. Now that I've had a chance to look at it and clean it up, I'm not really happy with it. It's rusted, the contact surfaces look like they're quite worn down. So I'm going to buy a new Sachs power clutch. I don't need to get the flywheel, obviously, because this is already 210. I just need the Sachs power clutch on the inside. Then I've got the exhaust seal, the gearbox seals. I can sort that out. And once I've got the new clutch and stuff in place, I'm probably going to order that next week. We can get all of that onto here. So yeah, we are making some progress. I haven't been videoing quite a bit because I really haven't had time. I've just realized I owe someone some details. There's a guy called Customs, I think he's in Pretoria or Centurion, and he can make up the covers that go in this cavity here and here. So I've asked him to make me some, and he asked me to send him my details so he could send me a quote, and I've just realized I haven't done that. So that'll cover this area nicely. I think they've got little air vents about sort of halfway through each side for the radiator, so that just finishes this off nicely. I did a test fit of the front bumper, as you can see. These are aftermarket bumpers. They are really, really terrible. They look nice, they look fantastic, but the finishings, trying to handle this, the sharp edges, nothing really lines up. You have to modify this thing as you go along. I have to deburr the whole thing. But the biggest problem is this thing is perfectly straight. But if you look at the valence, there's a very subtle curve. So I'm worried if I fit this. This is fine for a back bumper. I'm worried if I fit this, I'm going to damage the paint over here. So I need to either find someone who can bend this to match the curve that's in here, or I'm going to need to take it to like a sanding belt and, you know, do a couple of layers to create a curve. Short term, I'll use it, but I think I need to start looking for an original and clean that up. I was thinking of making these black. I'll run the chrome for a little while, but yeah, there are compromises with using aftermarket parts. You know, the back one luckily is straight, so there's no problem here. It's the front one that's the issue. And they were sold to me as perfect fits. You know, everyone says, oh, perfect fits. But these don't fit perfectly. And I'm not going to run the risk of damaging my valence just to sort of force these to work. So I would rather modify these to fit while I'm looking for OEM parts, which is kind of a bugger. I hate having to spend the same money twice, but there you go. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head on back to the house. I'll probably only be able to edit this. Tonight is Saturday night. I'll probably only be able to spend Sunday evening editing this. I've got some work to do. But yeah, nice quick simple job here, nice win. And yeah, we'll see. I'll either upload this on Sunday night or it'll be up on Monday. But that's it for now, guys, and thanks for watching. Hi guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more and be kept up to date, please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to my channel. With your help, we can get this project complete and move on to the next one. Bye for now.